Voted number one talk radio show in Arizona.
Number one during your morning commute.
Number one whenever news breaks during your day.
And number one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo! It is the Monty Show. Make sure you find us on YouTube. We are live on YouTube every morning, except when we don't have internet. Thanks, CenturyLink. But when we are live on YouTube, you, sir, should go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Just search The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show on YouTube. Subscribe, like all our videos. It really does help the show and the channel grow. By the way, we are at 91.
Let's go!
Is it 91 followers? I think.
Subscribers, bro.
Or subscribers.
Thank you.
Let me get the lingo right.
Thank you.
We are skyrocketing towards triple digits. So
Yes.
if you do not already, please help us get to 100 as soon as possible. Find The Monty Show on YouTube. Just search YouTube, youtube.com. YouTube.com, search The Monty Show. M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Jacob, my friend.
Yes.
So we've had quite the interesting... I don't know, what is it? Quite the interesting couple of days, I would guess, with the NBA and with Kyrie and with all of that noise. So all of a sudden, James Harden's a Brooklyn Net. Kyrie Irving's out at, parties without COVID protocol. Was yesterday a good day for the NBA, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the league was front and center. There's no doubt about that. I think, something that's flying under the radar is the fact that the NHL returned last night. And a lot of folks on Twitter were excited about that. But I think, unless you live under a rock, this whole situation with the Nets, firstly initiated by the idiocy of Kyrie Irving, and then, compounded with this trade that they just executed, is totally leading the sports world right now. I mean, and I would even say, I'd go further and say it's setting the world on fire, just frankly, because of how bad the breakup with the Rockets and James Harden was. And it's really unfortunate, too, because, for several years, what Harden and the Rockets had going was really cool, and then they turned out to be a team that couldn't get past the Warriors, they couldn't get past the Lakers, and now the breakup has just burned to the ground. So it's definitely leading the sports world.
Burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen The Accountant, burn it to the ground is one of the great lines in that movie. But anyway, the point is, I think yesterday was not a good day for the NBA.
Yeah.
And I know we talk about this every time LeBron and D-Wade go to South Beach and, they pound it like porn stars and all that good stuff. I think super teams are bad for the NBA. I do. Okay. I think when you have crazy Kyrie, the Slim Reaper, and fat-ass Harden on the same team, I'm sorry, I shouldn't fat shame anybody. Anyway, the point is, I think that this is bad for the NBA. I mean, you clearly shifted power to Brooklyn yesterday, which is fine. I get it. Brooklyn has the assets. They did what they had to do to get this trade done. But it's bad for the Knicks. It's bad for the Celtics. It's bad for the Sixers. In my opinion, it is no slam dunk that gets slam dunk.
Got it. Yeah,
it is no slam dunk that the Nets are going to win a championship. It is not.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I think this is a slam dunk that the Knicks are now probably three years further from that. Mainly because Jimmy Dolan's a dick. The Celtics are further away because Jaylen Brown's a disappointment. If you look at the Sixers, they haven't traded Ben Simmons yet. I look at the Nets. Their only issue now is how many more games is Kyrie going to decide he doesn't want to be a basketball player anymore before he figures out he's going to lose that $30, $40 million a year that he's making and finally come back and play basketball with them, because I think that's the only way they get to an elite status.
Yeah, well, I look at, as far as like super teams and putting teams together and things like that, I would say that we should look at what the Lakers did when they acquired Anthony Davis and what some of the questions were. Because some of the questions were, is AD and LeBron together, is that enough to win a championship? Which obviously it has turned out to be enough. But then I compare that situation to the Brooklyn Nets situation, And the main difference is that LeBron and AD can totally coexist together, and they can do it really smoothly. They can do it seamlessly, and it works out really nicely on the floor because AD's a big man, and LeBron can play point or basically any position on the floor, and that allows them to have the flexibility to make it work. I look at Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. My first concern is Kyrie Irving. Number one, how long until he gets hurt? Because, by the way, what no one's talking about is not playing is just hurting your ability to stay healthy because you're taking time off that you wouldn't normally take off. Your body's getting out of shape. Like, taking days off as an NBA player is not a wise decision, number one.
Sure.
Number two, I look at James Harden, and this is not a joke. I was looking at videos last night from this past summer when he was playing at the Rico Hines runs and like all these different, NBA pro runs. Dude, the guy was shredded. He's put on at least 20 pounds right now. At least 20 pounds, like without a doubt. So is he going to lose that weight? Is he going to play at that weight? If he does play at that weight, health is a big concern. But the overreaching point here, these three guys are not meant to play together on one NBA floor. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the best scorer in the league. James Harden, obviously is a phenomenal scorer. Some would say he's the best scorer in the league. And Kyrie is an on-the-ball guy. So how is all this going to work? Who's going to take less reps? Because it's not going to be Kyrie, and I don't think it's going to be James Harden, which tells me it's going to be Kevin Durant.
Do you believe there's any credence to this idea that do you believe there's any credence to this idea that Kyrie Irving doesn't want to be a basketball player anymore? Do you buy the idea in any way, shape, or form? And I guess maybe this is the greater conversation that we're going to have today. Do you buy this idea at all, friends, that Kyrie Irving doesn't love playing NBA basketball and simply wants to retire? As I mess with our camera because I didn't do it before the show started.
Listen, I don't think that Kyrie Irving is in a place where he's like, I don't want to play. Let me just retire. Like, I don't think he's there. What I think this is.
But then how do you explain what he's doing?
Because I think he's comfortable. I think he thinks he's the best guy in the NBA. I think he thinks he's untouchable. I think he thinks he can't be cut. I think he thinks he's some franchise player that can't be replaced. And the fact of the matter is the Nets are better off without him on the floor and just having Kevin Durant and everybody else because that's how good Kevin Durant is and that's how good their team chemistry was before this trade because now the team's completely different. You don't have Jarrett Allen. You don't have Caris LeVert. Like, the team is totally different now, So I don't think it's a retire thing or I'm tired of playing basketball. I think he thinks he's just too good. I think he thinks that no matter what he does, there won't be repercussions.
Oh, well, I think that's absolutely the truth.
And that to me is worse than the retirement conversation. Like the thing that really upsets me here with the Kyrie situation specifically is before the show we watched the video that's been going around, and if you haven't seen it, you can find it. It's not hard to find. But it's very clearly a situation where he flew his sister in from her vacation, wherever she was in her tropical wonderland, celebrating her birthday. He flew her in. They had a party. He was there.
Yeah.
And that's that. And there were a ton of people there. So, no, I don't think he should come back until the league says it's okay because the COVID exposure is extremely high. Like, I didn't realize it was like a 50-person thing.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it was a huge party.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man.
So, from a COVID perspective, his season's done for probably 2 weeks at least, I would say, number one. But then number two, again, if we take this back to basketball, they don't need him now. They don't need Kyrie Irving.
I think this is where we probably part company. Because I think I think he is essential to them winning a championship. You have guys in specifically James Harden, who we've seen in pressure situations not be able to perform.
That's
we
true.
watched Kevin Durant in the finals go through a long cold snap. And by the way, when he got hurt, I think the Warriors were still going to win an NBA championship without him. I think we've seen one guy in this triple in Brooklyn really perform when the chips are down. And that was Kyrie Irving in the finals with the Cavs. If he don't hit that three, LeBron James doesn't win that championship.
Yeah, but
right? Am I wrong about that?
I disagree as far as Durant's concerned. I think about like certainly there's no argument with Harden. I mean, Harden went 0 for 27 in the postseason from 3. He just was essentially a non-factor in scoring. But for Kevin Durant, I look at moments like when he brought the ball up the floor against LeBron and hit that 3 in transition. Absolute cold-blooded 3 to end the game. I look at situations like that. I look at the fact that Kevin Durant has always given LeBron fits in the postseason when they played. I look back to when they first matched up, when LeBron was in Miami Heat and Kevin Durant was in OKC that first time.
Yes.
And Kevin Durant went off. So like I don't worry so much about Durant. I do worry. I have concerns about Durant's Achilles. I do. That last night was the first back-to-back for him, and he looked great. He looks great, but the Achilles is you look great and then you're done. So that's still something I worry about. But as far as this postseason thing, Harden's the guy I worry about. He hasn't proven he'll perform.
Yeah, listen, I think there's a lot of different ways to look at this, and I guess where I come down on this is that I just feel like Kyrie Irving's the clutch guy in the room. And there's going to come a moment where one of these guys has to make a shot. And if I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, I don't want Kyrie to pass the ball to James Harden when the game's on the line. I don't.
No.
I'm a lot more comfortable with Kevin Durant. He seemed very comfortable going head-to-head against LeBron in the finals, which was one of the most entertaining matchups I think we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Kyrie Irving's the guy. Now, the problem is there are going to come situations where he's never going to pass the ball.
Right.
Because that's just not who he is. So my struggle is that I don't know who to trust in that situation. I really don't know who to trust because part of me says it's a real problem that Kyrie Irving won't pass the ball when you have all of this money invested in KD and now Harden. You gave up Jarrett Allen and you gave up Caris LeVert. And those two guys have been key foundational building blocks of this team for several years. And the other thing that we're not talking about with this team, and maybe you don't agree with this, they're lacking defense.
All right. Yeah.
Because Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden are not try-hard guys on defense. And you look at what Jarrett Allen brought to the yard every night, and that was he was going to block your shot and he was going to dunk on you.
Yeah.
And there's that badass tough guy, look at my afro and my long-ass legs.
Yes.
That motif that Jarrett Allen brought to the Nets every night is important.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is, now who's your best big man? Well,
it's Kevin Durant.
It's got to be Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And now you're going to ask Kevin Durant to play. He's going to have to play the post. They're going to have to be very creative on defense.
Mm-hmm. And James Harden's not a defensive guy.
No, not at all. So, again, I will just ask you directly, what is it that the Nets have right now that makes them better than the Lakers? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're matching up in a 7-game series and you're the Nets, your whole mission is to just outscore the Lakers. I mean, you're this trade. By executing this trade the way you executed it and what you gave up for what you got, you're saying, hey, we're going to try and score 130 every night. That's what you're saying. And you're saying, hey, our 130 is going to be better than your 130. We're going to outscore you, and that's just how it's going to be. And when you match up against the Lakers, I don't think that that's going to be as easy as they make it out to be because I look at when LeBron, even though he's older in his career, he's still playing at a really high level. And when he wants to play defense, he is a really good defender. Then I look at AD. There's no question that Anthony Davis is an elite defender. Has been, I don't know if he's won Defensive Player of the Year. I think he has, but is in that conversation every single year. Then I look at Montrezl Harrell and the absolute dog that he is. He loves to get after guys. So that's why I say, the Lakers, you're right about this from a defensive standpoint. Assuming that the Nets just have an easy train to the finals, I would not pick them over the Lakers. We will have to see how all this works out on the floor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. And when you're reliant on DeAndre Jordan, man, I think that makes you really nervous. And I look at this team and you don't have a legit 7-footer on this team. Mm-hmm. You look at Kevin Durant as 6'10", DeAndre Jordan's 6'11". You don't have a legit 7-footer on this team. Mm-hmm. So you're going to struggle. DeAndre Jordan is not the Lob City guy that he used to be. And frankly, his game, and we talk about this all the time on the show, DeAndre Jordan's game doesn't work in the NBA anymore.
Yeah.
Because that run the floor and lob it up to the big man, that guy that's in the half-court set who can't shoot a jumper, and DeAndre Jordan cannot shoot. Yeah, he's not a jumper guy. He is a tip dunk, alley-oop, let me get a rebound, I'll occasionally block a shot guy. And to me, he's not even a rim runner. Like, Rudy Gobert's a guy that you can count on to go up and down the floor, run rim to rim, block shots, finish a little bit at the cup, intimidate guys. But as soon as you pull him out on the high pick and roll, it's lob city and layup city for the opposition.
Right.
And I think that's we're seeing where the Jazz are struggling. The Nets are now in that exact same position. And when you're going to go up against teams that are quick and can guard the rim, I don't know that they match up even well with the Milwaukee Bucks. Because, and I know this is crazy, and I'm going to say it, anybody notice that 34 is hitting three-pointers now? Giannis Antetokounmpo is actually hitting three-pointers now. And he's looking more and more comfortable doing that. I am not convinced that this Brooklyn Net team, in a chemistry status or a roster build status, is even the best team in the East today.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I think my concern is not offensively. I think, you've got, obviously you have plenty of firepower. Steve Nash is just going to have to figure out how all this works, and they're going to have to. The truth of the matter is they're just going to have to share the reps. I mean, that's just what it is, because guys like Harden and Durant and Kyrie, they make their money on their scoring ability. So Steve Nash is going to have to find a way to share the load in that sense. Now, defensively, I don't know, man. I mean, this team, Kevin Durant can play good defense. He's not a defensive guy, but he's shown he can play good defense, okay? He's never going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but he's capable. Whereas James Harden just isn't capable, is never going to be that guy. James Harden is like Carmelo Anthony of old. He's just never going to play defense. Kyrie is always going to be in the pick and roll. So, for him to play defense is going to be tough because he's always going to be getting picked. So that's, I don't know. To me, this team's going to have to put up 125, 130 in the postseason to win games. And I'm not putting that past them. They're more than capable of doing that. But Steve Nash is going to have to put the pride down, tell these guys, hey, you got to be humble, and we're trying to win games. That's what it has to be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then there's this whole Kyrie thing that we have to get into, because I don't know how many people know what's going on with Kyrie Irving. And if you don't, I'm just going to give it to you in a nutshell. One, it's on the video explanation of this is on my Twitter timeline from NBA WOB, WOB. It's one of the best Twitter accounts in the world. Has a whole video breakdown of this, but you know that Kyrie Irving walked away from the Nets last week and said, hey, with everything going on in the world, I just don't fucking feel like it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said.
That's a quote. He told a teammate, I don't fucking feel like it when it comes to playing basketball. And, okay, I totally get that. You need a day or two. You need 5 days. Okay, take some time. Get your headspace right. Yeah. I have no problem with that. But it's not. It appears that that's not what the issue with Kyrie Irving is. What it appears is that the issue is you just don't want to play basketball.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who didn't see it, Kyrie Irving was videotaped either late Sunday night or early Monday morning at a massive birthday party for his sister in New Jersey, where he is from. He is seen in a club, one of his favorite clubs, that he's tweeted about, Insta'd about. Like, he went to his favorite club, hosted a party, and I don't know, you saw the video just like I did.
Yeah.
It must have been...
Oh, at least 50 people.
Had to have been.
At least.
Had to have been. At least. And so now you have all these people in that room, and he's there without a mask. He's on the dance floor with a bunch of people.
Well, and it's not just him without a mask. Everybody's
not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So my question is, how bad is this?
Well, I think it's terrible. I think the first thing that has to be brought up is COVID, obviously, and I think number one, nobody should feel sorry for Kyrie Irving and what the league's going to do to him as far as COVID protocols and keeping everybody safe. I mean, that's something that has to be taken seriously. So that's number one. Number two, I think the message it sends to players who have lost family members. You brought up Karl Anthony Towns, but there's obviously a number of players in the league who've lost folks. I think the message Kyrie is sending is a terrible one. You don't care about COVID. You're just going to do whatever you want. And then thirdly, it goes without saying the message he's sending to the franchise and to his old teammates and his new teammates is also
it's
terrible.
horrendous. Horrendous.
This to me is not from Kyrie. Like I said earlier, it's not, hey, I want to retire. It's, hey, I think I'm better than you. Hey, I think I'm untouchable. Hey, I can do whatever I want, and it's not really going to matter because at the end of the day, I'm Uncle Drew, and I do commercials, and I'm Nike, and this is all great. And to me, this is an opportunity for the league to send a message, and I really hope they do send a message on the COVID thing, and I hope they put a statement out saying you can't just do whatever you want. I mean, that's really what the message should be here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this because the NBA has quite literally come out and said if you're not going to follow the COVID protocol, you're not going to play in the NBA. They released a bunch of new COVID standards, and he immediately violated that. And they're talking about taking, for every game you miss because you have to be in quarantine, you're unpaid. They are going to take that away from you.
That's how it should be. Like, that's what it should be.
Well, I mean, he's making, $31 million a year, and he's already hinted at an extension, which I think is crazy. So I'll just ask you, how much are you willing to pay Kyrie Irving?
Man, that's a tough question. I think Kyrie Irving is 30 to 40 for sure. When he's right. I think this version of Kyrie Irving, who seemingly thinks he's better than everyone and isn't playing a lot and all that, I don't even know that I'd want him on my team. That's the problem. I disagree that he's vital for them to win a championship. I think Kevin Durant. Yeah, I think Kevin Durant is more than capable enough of carrying a team offensively. And I think as long as that team that you have around him is playing defense, hey, Jarrett Allen, hey, Caris LeVert, because LeVert's a good defender too.
He is a very good defender.
So if you still had those guys and you had just Kevin Durant and then you added Harden to that mix, I think you'd really be in a great place. But I think with all the issues that Kyrie Irving presents, I'm not willing to pay the guy top dollar. I'm not.
I'm just telling you, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
He's not worth it to me. And I that's why I say if you look at the Lakers, and I don't mean to sit here and espouse about how great the Lakers are.
Well, they're the best team in the league.
Right, but Dennis Schroeder is a guy that fits into your club. Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving is really talented. I'll say the same thing about James Harden. James Harden's really talented. They're weirdos.
Yeah.
Like, Flat Earth Kyrie is who Kyrie is.
Yeah.
James Harden, I say, in all seriousness, I say this. James Harden's fat. He is out of shape.
He is.
And he looks old. He looks terrible. He looks like he doesn't want to play a whole lot of basketball.
Yep.
He is ripping the organization. Oh, yeah, let me go ahead and trade for that guy. You texted me jokingly last night. How long is it going to take him to lose 20? I don't think that's such a joke. I think that's a pretty serious question.
I think it's a month, probably. Somewhere in there.
Come on, man. If you could lose 20 pounds in a month, well, you are a professional basketball player.
Dude, that's what he does, bro.
Yeah? He runs for a living. I get it.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't think it's so outlandish. Because think about it. He's got literally all day, every single day, to cut weight. Like, I don't, it really, to me, it's not outlandish because that's what he does for a living. So, again, I guess, and maybe this speaks to his mindset and how different of a lifestyle he may be living. You're an NBA player. You get paid to be in shape, and you're a guy. You're not just like an average-ass player, right? Like, you're not. It'd be one thing if Jared Dudley put on 20 sitting on the bench. You'd be like, okay, you sit on the bench every night. I get it, right? And you're at the back end of your career. James Harden is in his prime as a scorer, as an NBA player. Yeah. You're in your prime. You thought it'd be cool to put on 20 pounds, and then you thought it'd be cool to upset the organization, rip the organization, not play with John Wall and Boogie Cousins, and you wanted to get out and go to Brooklyn and play with your boy from OKC. Like, I don't understand why it's okay for these athletes to not take their job seriously. Oh, that's right, because they don't fall off of trees, right? Guys like Harden, guys like Kyrie, guys like KD, they're not just falling off of trees, easy to walk down the street and find them.
That's the thing that blows me away.
Yeah.
Right, like we're going to talk about the Powerball.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive 2 hours out of my way, either tomorrow night or first thing Saturday morning, to buy Powerball tickets. James Harden gets a Powerball ticket, and he wins the Powerball every day.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving wins Powerball every day.
They're literally making $20,000 a minute.
I think Kyrie Irving's paid $401,000 a day.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
This guy makes $400,000 a day.
And by the way,
doesn't want to come to work.
He's throwing that away to go to a party.
Doesn't want to come to work. And James Harden, who's paid much more than that,
Yeah.
because he's making $40 million. And by the way, he's on the verge of getting an extension that's going to pay him $50 million a year. And he won't stop eating, like high sugar carbs.
Yeah.
Like the guy won't put the golden, packed Oreo, which is the best cookie on the
double
market.
stuffed golden Oreos.
Oh,
Yeah.
he won't put them down.
Yeah.
He won't put down the chocolate wax rings.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all know that when you
Yep.
eat donuts, you got to start with chocolate wax rings.
Of course.
Right?
Tradition.
I mean, I'm floating over here in fat. My point is, so is James Harden.
It's bad, dude.
And this is what I've always said about weed. Like, wait, are you really telling me the NFL Combine is your ticket to the Powerball and they want to hand you the money? But you know what? Hey, man, if you just don't smoke weed here for 6 weeks, you're going to be a multimillionaire and you're going to have generational wealth.
Nah, I don't think so. I can't do that.
It's
I'm
one
good, dude.
blunt. Who
Yeah, I'm
cares?
good, bro. I can't do that.
Hey, it's generational wealth. Just don't get arrested. Don't go out, get a DUI. Don't do that. Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what is so amazing to me about the NBA, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I really don't. And you know what, man? At some point, maybe I will. Maybe I'll get it. I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because I just can't relate to that.
Yeah.
I cannot relate to that. Make sure you hello. It's English, bro. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. On YouTube, just search The Monty Show on YouTube. Hit subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. We are trying to get to 100 as soon as we can. Frankly, we're trying to get to 1,000 as soon as we can. So every follower
So tell
counts.
your friends about it. Get them
Let's
to
go.
the channel. Let's go. Come on.
Get the hose.
Fly your sister in like Kyrie. Get her to subscribe.
Yeah, COVID and stuff. Let's talk NFL because there's a couple of amazing NFL stories from yesterday. The Patriots had the worst season they've had in probably 15 years this year. Mm-hmm. And yesterday they won the NFL.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I don't know how many people saw this, but Bill Belichick yesterday hired Bill O'Brien to be his offensive coordinator. Now, we know good old Bill O from Houston being an idiot of a general manager. But this is a guy who's proven to be an elite level offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. He also has been a guy who in you look at the Belichick coaching tree and you look at where Belichick's offensive coordinators have gone, and now you see that Bill O'Brien's going to Alabama to be the offensive coordinator, and you start to understand that Bill Belichick has incredible success with coaching guys. Mm. And so the Patriots won yesterday because I think you're going to see them continue to have guys like Bill O'Brien get big jobs. Players want to go to New England to play. Mm. And it's this culture change. And here's why I say, I'm going to tie this all together right here. You look at Bill O'Brien going to Alabama. Uh-huh. Well, who got the Texas job? Steve Sarkisian. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows that if you coach for guys like Saban and Belichick, right, you're going to win. You're going to get jobs. I think big-time coordinators want to go to New England, and I think big-time players want to go to New England.
Yeah.
And I know that the Patriots are coming off of their worst season. But I'm telling you, Bill O'Brien being the offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide makes the Patriots better. And I think this is critical because one other guy I want to talk about. Gerard Mayo is another hot coaching candidate who's getting big-time interviews. And you have the Patriots in a position where they have to restock. I think this team is going to rebound quickly. I think you're going to see that they're going to do, and I'm going to talk about the Bears in a minute, unfortunately, but I think they're going to do what the Bears wouldn't do. They're going to make a real bold decision at quarterback, and they're going to get that decision right. And I think the Patriots, and I know it sounds crazy, what does Alabama have to do with New England? I'm telling you, people are starting to realize that, yes, Tom Brady's had big success, and Tom Brady was a big part of the success in New England, but I think people are starting to recognize that if you work around Bill Belichick as a player or a coach, good things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots, my guess is the Patriots will wind up trading up.
Oh, yeah. You talk about a bold move to go get a quarterback. Don't put it past the Patriots to make some ridiculous draft move to go and get. I'm not saying they're going to trade up to number 1 or that's even a possibility, but what I am saying is don't be surprised if they make a move to get into like the top 5, let's say, or to get the guy that they like to get, Zach Wilson, let's say, or any of these upper echelon quarterback prospects that they can develop and turn into their next Tom Brady.
Yeah, and I think when I look at guys like Bill Belichick, and this is the thing I've never understood. Why do people not do business the way he does business?
Because he's cold-blooded. He's not nice, and people like to be nice.
That's true. Absolutely, that's true. I think people in big positions like Belichick's worry about hurting other people's feelings. And when I look at Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, they're very close. They have a great relationship. If you look at the fact that they share players historically, they share personnel historically, coaching and you look at the way that they work on the kind of that same plane. Nick Saban's never going to be accused of being the most popular coach in college football because he's not.
Yeah.
By the way, he's got 7 wins, national championship wins. He's the winningest coach in the history of college football for a reason.
Yep.
Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach in the history of the National Football League for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they don't make it personal. They make it very impersonal. And I think when you look at guys like Bill O'Brien, he knows what he's getting in Nick Saban because he worked for Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And when he goes to Alabama now to be their offensive coordinator, they're going to do well. And the Patriots winning, look at what Nick Saban did.
Yeah.
And I look at the fact you lost Steve Sarkisian. It's a terrible hire by Texas. I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah, they're going to be bad for a while.
This is an awful decision by the Texas Longhorns. But think about this. You replaced a national championship offensive coordinator with a guy in Bill O'Brien who is regarded as a quarterback guru and a guy who is the best available offensive coordinator on the market.
Yeah, I mean, as insane as it is to say, they got better. I mean, let's be honest about it. They got better. And
I think they got a lot better.
And I think if people think that Bill O'Brien, Bill Belichick, and Nick Saban are not talking about the prospects in the Alabama pipeline, you're up in the night, dude. You don't understand the relationships between college programs and NFL head coaches. And I just think you're totally right. I think the fact that Bill O'Brien's going there and Belichick and Nick Saban are already close. You can't tell me that they're not going to, potentially go after a big-time wide receiver, a big-time quarterback, getting the premier talent out of that Alabama program. I'm not sitting here saying that Nick Saban is some kind of a minion to the Patriots, but what I am saying is that, it's one thing to be an NFL coach and not have a relationship with Saban and say, hey man, this is Brian Flores out of Miami here. What you got going for me?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, this is Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time, one of your best friends. What do you got? Who should I take here?
Yeah.
And he's going to tell him who he should take.
Yeah, and that to me is what teams like the Chicago Bears don't do. And I am a diehard Bears fan. I think we all know that. I think I've made that very clear. The Chicago Bears had a press conference yesterday with the owner of the team, with the president of the team, a guy named Ted Phillips, the general manager, and the head coach. Ted Phillips, the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears, has been that for 22 years. He's been the president and CEO. They've only made the playoffs 6 times in those 22 years. You're not successful. You're not good at what you do, right? You're coming off of a season where it's been established that Mitch Trubisky is at best a bust. At best a bust. You need change at the quarterback position. You can't afford to do it because you overpaid Nick Foles to get him.
Yeah, you did.
What a disastrous decision that is. So essentially the owner of the team, Mr. McCaskey, comes out yesterday and says, I really like where we are. I learned a lot about Ryan Pace, our general manager, and Matt Nagy, our head coach. during a 5-6 game losing streak where I saw the character of this team.
Oh, he don't know nothing.
I saw the character of this coaching staff. And I saw the relationship between our general manager and our head coach. And that gives me great hope and confidence that we're on the right track.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Did you hear what you said? And then you have the head coach sit up there and he's asked the question that everybody wants the answer to for the Bears. Hey, Dick, are you going to call plays next year and try to be the head coach? Because you were an awful play caller this year.
Are we clear on that?
So much so that you were forced to give away the play calling duties. So naturally, you would assume that he's going to say, well, here's how we're going to handle play calling, because you knew you were going to get asked this question.
Yeah.
And he completely dodged it. He's like, well, we haven't gotten to that point yet. Hey, you have. You know exactly that you're calling plays next year. Okay, well, let's forget Matt Nagy, the incompetent, ridiculous, awful play caller. Let's talk about Ryan Pace, the general manager. Ryan Pace was asked the only question that matters. Hey, what are you going to do at quarterback? Didn't answer the question. Essentially said, well, the most important thing about the quarterback position is it's a priority for us. And Matt Nagy and I, that crappy play caller, Matt Nagy and I are on the same page on with the vision for the position. Blah, 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 blah. All right, we'll see you in minicamp. Thanks. All right, guys, take care. Meyer and we, the Chicago Bears.
It's awful, dude. It's embarrassing.
That's who the Chicago Bears are. That's not who the New England Patriots are. And that's not who Alabama is. So when I say, did the Patriots win again yesterday? The answer is yes. Absolutely they did. And when they get a big name at quarterback, and listen, they tried, and I think they made a great move trading for Cam Newton. Did that work out? No. But I just said this to my wife the other day, because we're opening a business. So as I bought her these beautiful Air Jordan 1 lows, and she was opening the box, I said to her, yes, I know length and girth, babe. And then I said, but I want you to remember something. We're talking about opening a business.
Can you measure it?
I said, you can measure it, actually. But I said to her, I'm okay failing, but let's give it our best shot. Let's do everything we have to do. Let's do what has to be done. Don't be scared to fail. The Patriots failed with Cam Newton.
With N'Keal Harry.
There's no, N'Keal Harry didn't work out the way they wanted to, but Cam Newton's the perfect example.
Yeah.
Because how did we get to Cam Newton? Well, because you cut bait on Tom Brady, because you felt like your window had closed. And I'll even say that's genius. To have the balls to cut bait on Tom Brady is amazing. Is amazing.
Right.
He's not, at this point, with all due respect, Tom Brady didn't have a Tom Brady caliber season.
Yeah,
right?
But
okay, but he's in transition with Tampa.
And he's in the postseason.
And he's in the playoffs. Oh, that's cool. But I think the Patriots were not going to win a championship this year with Tom Brady.
Yeah, and they knew that. They probably did.
They knew that.
Yeah.
So they did what all good organizations do. They lawyer malloyed him. Which is they took a player that everybody loved. He's Tommy. I want to have his kids. Well, that's cool. Go procreate in Tampa, because we're going in a different direction. We're
getting somewhere.
Yeah, we're moving to the future in New England, right?
Yeah.
So what did they do? They went and took a shot at the best available quarterback on the market, who was Cam Newton. Failed miserably.
Right.
But I guarantee you, we got to Cam Newton and Tom Brady because they made another move that nobody wants to talk about anymore. Jimmy Garoppolo's a San Francisco 49er because they identified him as a guy that was not going to be a number one for them.
Yeah.
And they needed assets.
And arguably hasn't been a great number one for the Niners.
Arguably. He's been, with all due respect to Jimmy Garoppolo, this guy over here has been just an average quarterback. Jimmy G, he's had significant injury issues. By the way, what did he have in New England? Significant injury issues.
And he was a backup.
Right? And he got his shot when Tommy went down with the knee or the shoulder or whatever the hell it was. The mouth kiss. when Tommy was out of the lineup.
You are what you are.
Jimmy G got a shot and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And it caused problems. Right? So Didn't they have Jacoby Brissett?
Yes.
Where'd they send Jacoby Brissett?
We'll see you later.
They sent him to the Colts, right? They are renowned for making the right move at the right time.
Yep.
And so now where are we? We're at a place where they have the flexibility to make a move at quarterback. And they're going to.
Definitely.
I don't think anybody questions the idea that the New England Patriots are going to upgrade their quarterback position.
Yep.
There is no doubt
And
about
they have
that.
to. It's time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's time. Yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's
so
time.
my point is the Patriots, yesterday was a good day for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Again. And I think what you're going to see is the haves and the have-nots in this world. Look at Urban Meyer.
This is crazy now. I mean, listen, he's going to take that. There's no way you pass up the Jags and go and talk to the Chargers if you don't want the Charger job.
Well, he's talking to a lot of people, frankly, Urban.
Yeah, but again, not all jobs are created equal.
All this tells you is he wants to make sure he gets a look at the best job available before he settles for one of the worst jobs available.
I want it.
Perception-wise. He's thirsty for a good job. Urban has an offer on the table to be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's not taken that job yet.
Right.
I think if Urban Meyer picked up the phone today and said, hey, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, hey, Shad, I'm ready to go. Let's do this thing. Boom, done. Press conference tomorrow. We're good to go. I have no doubt about that. But here's the thing. Speaking of length and girth, Urban Meyer, Urban Meyer, it always comes back to that. Urban Meyer is aware of one thing. Everybody wants him some Urban Meyer, right? There's not a job that's open right now that if Urban Meyer called the Jets, if Urban Meyer called anybody that's got an opening, Atlanta, San Diego, LA, in a Rams stadium.
Yep.
If he called any of those teams and said, hey, it's Herbs. I'm ready to go.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
Oh, kick it will flow. That's one of the greatest drops ever. Hey, it's Herbs. Let's kick it and flow. They'd have a contract at his agent's office that day.
Yep.
There is nobody, right? And you tell me I'm wrong about that, right?
I agree, bro. People, I'm not an Urban guy, but the NFL is definitely an Urban guy.
But what I'm telling you is there is not length and dearth. I said dearth, not girth. There is not a dearth or a lot of quality coaching candidates.
Right.
It really, in my opinion, it really is Bieniemy and Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think he's the best available candidate. And
People Myron.
They are. They are. Speaking of James Harden body styles, Eric Bieniemy is a guy that's available. They're both a little chunky, man. You know what I'm saying? Eric Bieniemy, I think, is the best available coaching candidate.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
And I think Urban Meyer's second.
Yeah.
Either one of those guys makes a great candidate.
Yep.
Right? Makes a great head coach, in my opinion. But when you're Urban Meyer and you win everywhere you go, right? There's something, and you and I are in sales. We're in performance positions.
By the way, it's been a good month.
When you perform at the top of your organization, man, I mean, the world's your oyster.
Yep.
People are like, oh, hey, that's Jake. He's a top performer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Jake's winning the floor.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jake's leading the team.
Yep.
Hey, Tim's got a 2-1 lead on his team.
Yeah.
Like, you just are expected.
Yes.
And then when people see you, they're like, oh, hey,
look here, man.
Hey, Urban Meyer, will you coach my team? Because I know you win all the time, everywhere you go. So you're going to win here, right? Great. Coach the Jaguars. Hey,
Yes. Yes.
let's do this.
When you've got a winning pedigree.
That's who Urban Meyer is. And that's why I keep telling you this idea that Urban Meyer is all about domestic violence and players committing violent acts against women. Yeah, that's true.
Get a fast pass for Douche Mountain, because you're a douche.
That's in his past.
It's on his resume.
You can't get away from that. But who's really thinking about Urban Meyer and Aaron Hernandez? Well, not Jacksonville. They're thinking about Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. That's what they're thinking about. So my point is, it doesn't matter what you've done transgressions-wise in the past.
Yeah, who cares about Ohio State? Nobody cares.
No, it's the Ohio State.
My
when
bad,
you have
sorry.
those kind of wins on your resume, you can have any job you want.
Yeah.
Right? It's the idea that a guy no, Urban Meyer can have any job he wants. And frankly, if I'm the Chargers, I'm naming it SoFi Urban Meyer Stadium. Like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. come coach my team. You have the best quarterback for the next. I think, and I could be wrong about this. I think Justin Herbert's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for the next decade.
Yeah, no doubt.
He is going to win the Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're Urban Meyer and you're going to a team, well, let's be honest, he's not going to the Lions. Who are we kidding?
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
That's
But
a good joke.
if you go to the Jags, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
If you go to San Diego Whales Vagina in
San
Inglewood,
Diego.
California, where the Chargers are now in LA, at least they don't play in a soccer stadium anymore.
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Right? The Spanos Army. Anyway, the point is, you're going to have a quarterback for your entire coaching career.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Go to LA to coach the Chargers.
By the way, it's LA.
Yeah, go to LA. Live in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
You know, bring your wife, you've got an incredible setup out there. You will be, and you tell me if I'm wrong, he gets hired. He's Phil Jackson going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
He is bigger than Sean McVay.
Well,
is,
the best way to say it is he's potentially, and he's got to still go and win the games and do his thing, obviously. But if you hire Urban Meyer, you potentially just hired the best college head coach to turn NFL head coach in the NFL league history. Because you think about it, Saban flamed out, Chip Kelly's flamed out. Pete Carroll's been a nice success story with the Seahawks. He's done great things in the league. But there have been a whole slew of college coaches who have tried to get it done at the NFL level, and they haven't been able to get it done. And I would think that Urban would be able to get it done, but, I mean, I don't know. And the other side of this, too, is if you do hire Urban Meyer, it's a loss-proof thing. Nobody's ever going to criticize you for hiring Urban Meyer.
No, you're bulletproof on that.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Spanos family is capable of being bulletproof, if they hire Urban Meyer, they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's incredibly interesting to see the pursuit of Urban Meyer and the fact that the guy can write his own ticket. Anytime he wants.
Yeah.
He can go anywhere he wants.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Woo! Jet flying! Anyway, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Find us on YouTube. By the way, a lot of people ask me if we still have an audio podcast. You know we do. You just search The Monty Show. Anytime you want a piece of this, and I know really all the ladies do, now I'm in Ric Flair mode. I should stop because now I'm like in Ric Flair mode. But anyway, anytime you're looking for Monty, it's fine. Just search The Monty Show. Monty, The Monty Show. Google search The Monty Show. The podcast comes up. The YouTube comes up. We're SEO kings. Just search The Monty Show. Monty, The Monty Show. We've got about 15 minutes left in this show. What did you say about the internet yesterday? And now everybody's blowing my phone up with this.
Okay.
It's appalling. Stop. Barry, look, dude, I like...
You're not talking about the damn Giants, and I'm upset about it.
No. Barry, the New York Giant fan. And look, he's my guy. I like Barry.
I love Barry, dude. His salty takes are the best, man.
I really do. I like Barry, but Barry, I'm just telling you that... So Barry says... It's disgusting to me that you are minimizing domestic violence with Urban Meyer. You've said a lot of things that I've laughed at. I'm not laughing now. Nobody is minimizing domestic violence with Urban Meyer. Except the Chargers and the Jaguars. When they hire him. You're complicit in that.
Yeah, look, it's very clear where I stand on this whole thing. I think if you hire Urban Meyer, he's a winning football coach. I mean, he's done a hell of a job on the field, but all the stuff off the field is definitely, it's definitely not great.
Clint says, what's it going to take for you to say something bad about the Lakers? When did you become a LeBron apologist? What have we even talked Lakers on the show?
Yeah, we did.
Well, I mean, I guess them being... What am I supposed to say bad about the Lakers? What is it you want me to say bad about the Lakers, Clint? Because I don't know what that. I really don't know what that is.
I don't. Yeah, sorry, dude.
I don't know what that would be
right now.
Right? Like I'm not sure.
We're not in the 2012 Lakers with Kobe in a dumpster fire of Jeremy Lin and a bunch of guys who don't know how to win a basketball game.
I mean, the Lakers are very good. So they're the reigning NBA champions. I think they're better than the Brooklyn Nets.
Really good chance to repeat, by the way. Just saying.
I think they have a really good chance to repeat.
Yeah.
So
you're a Lakers fan. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think it's a bit far and extreme to say you're a LeBron apologist. Certainly, you're a Jordan guy.
I am not a LeBron fan.
I don't think you're a LeBron apologist, but
hello.
Yeah, like
Are you kidding me? We have a Jordan poster. Thanks to Bruce at the Bud plant, we have a Jordan poster on the wall.
Make it not Bud like weed, Bud like the beer.
Oh, do they refer to weed as Bud?
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah,
never heard that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've heard it as like stank or I've heard all lettuce, like hippie lettuce. I've never heard Bud.
Yeah, Bud is definitely one of them.
Bud Light Lime. Anyway, the point is, I am not a LeBron fan at all. I respect LeBron. I mean, the guy's a hell of a basketball player.
You're a Booker guy. That's what you are.
Yeah, Devin Booker's my favorite player by far.
Yeah.
I don't have blow-up dolls like you do at KD.
And Baker, come on.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
but you let's be honest, you bottomed out on Baker and poked a hole in it. And now, super glue only takes you so far in those situations.
That's 100% correct.
Just Google search fleshlight. Anyway, the point is...
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Stop it. The point is... hey, the Stever.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Stever?
He's had some serious takes lately.
The Stever says no. He says, F Barry. I'm burned out on Barry. What happened to the thong, jerk? Yeah, it wasn't Barry like Barry the New York thong or something like that.
Yeah.
Because Stever the other day had changed his name.
Yeah, what did he change
That's
it to?
why he changed it. Stever in a thong or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
He was Headband Stever for a minute.
Headband Stever is one of the best names you've ever come up with.
Yeah, Headband Stever was amazing. Real Fat Jesus says the Lakers are sex traffickers. Okay, I mean...
Okay.
Oh, you know, I mean... let's talk about the internet. Real Fat Jesus, always there. Stever says, I'm open to a vote. If Headband Stever's where it's at, it's where it's at. It's what I do.
I like Headband Stever a lot, dude.
Okay.
I think that's clean.
That's cool. Thank you for your service, Stever. And I know we have a lot of military and veterans that listen to the show. Thank you so much. The shots of the National Guard sleeping in the Capitol yesterday are, I mean, it's just really, those pictures are so moving. I appreciate everybody who's sacrificed for this country and serves our country. Frankly, I never did, and your courage is incredible. So thank you for your service. Now go ahead and smash that subscribe button on YouTube. By the way, that's the other thing Stever said. Stever said he'll never subscribe to YouTube.
Why?
He's a Periscope guy. Well, come March 31st, bro.
So
I mean,
clarify, because it's not like we're just intentionally leaving Periscope. So
no,
clarify
Periscope's going out of business, and there's a huge banner every time you turn on Periscope. There's a huge banner that says service will stop March 31st.
What would I do without you?
Yeah, I mean, we're only on YouTube Live because Periscope's going away.
Yep.
I mean, we love Periscope.
We've been doing this show on Periscope for 5 years, bro.
Yeah, and it's not like we're looking to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
We tried Twitch. It just wasn't for us.
No.
YouTube's where it's at for us.
Yep.
And it's easy. It's seamless. And eventually we'll have more than 30 views a video. Just come on, get on board.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the internet, because yesterday, and we've talked a lot about bad service on this show.
So before you get into what happened, let's talk about our daily schedule, because this is the part that companies like CenturyLink don't care about. So our schedule is, hey, and I don't know what time you get up. I get up like 4:50, 5 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I get up, get dressed, whatever, and I come over and I'm here by 5:30, and we're usually down here, kind of doing our thing at 5:30. So I come over, and you're just, like, sitting down here at your desk, like, not doing anything.
At my work desk.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
We have a setup, and you can't see it, obviously. Like, this is our podcast setup. Like, my work desk is 6 feet in front of me. Me and my wife have an office set up, and then, like, the Bowflex, Peloton, Half Dome, yoga shit is all over in the corner.
Do you even lift?
I do. But my point is... yeah, I'm sitting at my work desk, which usually is not a good thing. I'm a workaholic. But so I come down yesterday, I wake up, and the first thing I knew I had an issue. And this tells you what a slave to the internet I am, but I walk into my living room down the stairs. If you don't need stairs, don't buy a house with stairs. Anyway, the point is I walk into my living room and I say, hey, lady, Alexa, turn on.
She lit up.
I know, and that's because there's a pod right here.
Shut up.
Stop, Alexa. So I say to her, hey, lady, turn on the living room lights. And she doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is going on? So I say that command again. And she says, I'm having trouble executing that command.
No.
Please try again later. I'm like, okay. So I walk into my kitchen, flip on the lights, let the dogs out. Like, the normal stuff. I fill up a blender bottle full of water. I usually grab one of these Powerade Zeros and a Monster and whatever.
Right.
And I go downstairs. And the first thing I notice, because my basement is pitch dark, right, is the light we use a Mevo camera.
Right, yeah.
So the light on the back of the Mevo camera is blinking red.
Uh-oh.
And that's the internet indicator.
Me.
Yeah, I'm terribly vexed.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude.
By the flashing light, I'm like, oh, man, what's going on? So then I go over to my work computer to check my calendar, and I can't get on the internet.
That's what fucking ticks me the fuck off!
I am not a patient man with technology. Okay, I pay thousands of dollars. The shit should just work. Like, I don't like it. So I walk into the service room in my basement, like where your heater, your washing machine, your water heater.
Your router.
And my router happens to be there. And it's, again, you remember the old Xboxes? You get the red ring of death.
The red ring of death.
Well, my router has that same thing. So there's this red ring of death flashing on the front of my... and the biggest problem is the front of the router, how I know I'm in trouble, the front of the router says CenturyLink, which means I'm screwed. But there's a red ring of death flashing. So I'm like, oh boy. So I unplug the router. I do what everybody... Why don't we go ahead and power cycle that bad boy,
I'm
boss?
screwed.
Hey, boss, go ahead and power cycle it. I'm like, okay. So I power cycle it. And it comes back up. Boom. Fuck you.
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
No internet. Like, it's just screaming at you. And actually what it's doing is laughing at me. That light is taunting me.
Right, yeah, of course.
So I look up on the internet, there's a known outage with CenturyLink. Service is expected to be restored at 10:15.
Okay, so when you saw 10:15, how'd you feel? What were you thinking?
Where's that drop? That really pisses me off.
Yeah.
I was not happy.
That's what fucking ticks me the fuck off!
That is a direct quote from yesterday. So I was unhappy about it.
Right.
Because I can't obsess over my job now.
Right.
And we can't do the show. So right at that moment, Jake walks in and I say to him, hey, we don't have any internet. So good job getting up at 10 to 5 and being here by 5:30.
I'll try to stay calm and not curse.
Good luck with that. Right? So then I tether my AT&T iPhone 11 Sex to my computers, right? Come on, that was an amazing line.
Yes.
iPhone 11 Sex?
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, yeah.
Point is, so I tether my computers and stuff to my phone. All right, I'm good work-wise until about noon. And all of a sudden, my phone stops. Like, my phone is running. You know those videos, those fail videos where some dude's running 80 miles an hour on a treadmill and then he just flops off of it? That's what happened to the data on my phone. And my wife's like, oh, they're squelching us.
Uh-huh.
They're throttling us.
Uh-huh.
I call AT&T. They're like, oh, we don't see a problem. You have 58 gigs left. Why don't you go ahead and restart your phone? So I do that.
So you have to end the call.
So I have to end the call that took me 10 minutes to get to the right guy.
Right.
Restart the phone.
And what time is this?
This is at just short of noon.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I restart the phone. It doesn't work. I call him back 10 minutes later. Like, well, we don't see a problem, boss. We feel like your iPhone 6 should be doing the job. We're going to escalate this to a department who's going to call you back.
What the fuck does one thing have to do with the other?
Right? They still haven't called me back, by the way. They haven't. I'm not kidding. So I have no data. So I'm like, oh God, I need to go to the sex den. So I call my. I'm not happy about it.
Right.
So then we get a business call related to something not Yelp. And I'm talking to this guy. My wife's talking to you. Like Mrs. Monty calls Jake and is like, hey, our internet's out. Do you mind if your dad comes over, works at your place? Jake's like, no, he stinks. I'm like, okay, I'll shower. So we wind up going over there, and as all the hoes are leaving, I'm walking in to his place.
Right,
and so immediately I get on the phone. Both of us close a deal. And now it's like it's like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like 3 o'clock.
It was like 3 o'clock, and my wife sends me a text. Hey, the internet's back on.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, cool.
And you booked it out quick. You're like, I'm going home. Because the thing is like when you don't have your desk set up, it's miserable.
Yeah, see, again, first world problems.
Right.
I have a docking station. Which means, because Yelp provides us with laptops so we can work at home. Yes, I know, like, people are killing me for this.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
Like, you're such a first world problem guy. I know. And how do you, I have first world problems. Your fucking name is Tauren. You're a guy and your name is Tauren, and you're on me about my problems? Good Lord, man. Anyway.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Oh, Urban Meyer to the Jaguars. It's over. Anyway, so my point is, so it's 3:30 actually, and I get home, and so I have a docking station, which means Yelp provides us a laptop to work from, and I have a little thing that plugs into the side of it, and I have a dongle that plugs in a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard.
Yep.
And I have a big computer screen that I work on.
Yeah.
Curved screen, like beautiful.
Fire, dude.
So then when you have to not have that, and you're actually using a trackpad, and you don't use a mouse, it's just like, it is first world problems. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So I got home and immediately closed another deal. That's what I do.
Right.
Anyway, the point is, we're too reliant on the internet.
Oh, my God.
We're too reliant on the internet.
Especially in this time. I mean, when you're not going into the office, like...
It's Tauren, not Tauren. Oh, my bad. Because Tauren's so much better. I love you. I'm just ball breaking. The point is, we're so reliant on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I want to say that Lopes Van Gabe, the newest GCU football fan.
Did they announce that?
I didn't follow up on it.
Okay.
He made a good point. If you're CenturyLink, how do you have an outage when everybody's at home working and they're relying on making money?
Yeah.
My whole job is performance based. If I don't perform and make, close, I don't get money.
Yeah.
And so when you turn off my internet, and then AT&T throttles down my data, I'm done. Like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, I never got that call back from AT&T Wireless, and I never, CenturyLink has a thing where you can put your number in and they'll text you when your outage is over.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten that text message.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this thing where we pay hundreds. I pay $260 a month to AT&T Wireless. I supposedly I found out yesterday, I have 175 gigs a month.
It's a lot, dude.
Because I never use my data, because I'm always on Wi-Fi. So my data constantly rolls over. Like, the guy on the phone yesterday was like, you're losing data because you have so much, and you can only roll over a certain amount, and then it falls off.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't use data on my phone.
Right.
Right? Because it just rolls over, and I'm always on Wi-Fi. But it tells you that we are so reliant on these tech companies to do our jobs and live our lives.
Yep.
And I look at this thing with Donald Trump and Twitter and all these social media platforms. I look at the way that we know now that the Capitol riots, the insurrection that happened at the U.S. Capitol, was coordinated on social media and on the internet.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fact now that we think that some congressmen gave tours when their tours were not allowed, so that they did it the day before the insurrection so that they could have the layout of the Capitol, which is, boy, if that comes true. But anyway, the point is, they use the internet and social media apps to coordinate. And it's really scary. They're talking about having a data-free zone during the inauguration. where no data will be transmitted on phones, and
which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, and mobile phones and data will not be. You will not be able to use them at the inauguration.
Yeah,
because they're still having the inauguration outside in public.
Yeah,
and there's all kinds of death threats. The president always gets death threats, but there's all kinds of threats of violence against capitals across every state.
Yeah.
All 50 states are going to have military presence at their capitals on Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
And they're talking about turning off your ability to browse the internet and communicate if you're going to go to the inauguration. That's where we are. That's how powerful the internet has become in this country.
Yeah.
And
you combine a tool like the internet with the human mind, and there's no limit.
It's amazing. Headband Stever is back.
Let's go.
Headband Stever says the internet is a weapon, and there are countries around the world, and his tweet disappears, damn it. He essentially says there are countries around the world who use the internet against their people.
Russia.
And now we're seeing people using the internet against their government.
Yeah.
And I think it's really a thing. Like, one of the major conversations is, did Twitter go too far? Private company. But look at Google. Google now has locked down Donald Trump's YouTube account for 7 days.
Yeah.
Until he is out of office. I don't know if they went too far. The knee-jerk reaction when they banned Donald Trump from social media and when they took his Twitter account away permanently, the knee-jerk reaction for me, and I think a lot of people in this country and in this world, was good. Okay, good. That's need to happen. But as we get more and more into this, I guess the question for me that I really wonder about is it a good thing when you have social media companies like Twitter controlling your ability to communicate?
Yeah, because you don't need Twitter to communicate. It's not a need. It's you can pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah.
They're not censoring your ability to call somebody. You know, the freedom of speech, doesn't include in there, hey, your ability to use a private platform.
Yeah.
So I don't have any issue with it. I don't think that I just don't think that there's any significant issue with it. I don't think they're limiting, or violating his rights. I just don't see it as an issue. It is a private company on a private platform. The issue is that they're so successful that everybody uses it, so it feels like it should be something that is protected under freedom of speech, and it's not.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't disagree with that. Tauren says, I agree with you. There's no reason to have cell phone service at this inauguration. It's a matter of life and death.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I mean,
totally.
I think it's totally a great move. I think you have a certain responsibility. Obviously, it goes without saying, as the government and as the leadership of the country, to not only protect Joe Biden and the government officials, but I think you have a responsibility when you're having an event like an inauguration, a historical event, to protect the people that are coming. And if you have to have a data-free zone to do that, then they should do it, 100%.
Yeah. March says, I didn't know that you were a Devin Booker fan in all the years you lived in Phoenix. Did you ever say that on the radio? Yeah.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
You should listen more. Yes, I'm a huge Devin Booker fan.
Big Book fan. By the way, quick snippet. He's now the best shooting guard in the West. Just putting that out there.
No, I think for sure.
Yeah, after these trades and everything, definitely the best shooting guard in the West now.
I think for sure. Real Fat Jesus says, how about a video tour of the new Monty Digs? Perhaps a remote broadcast from your local bar or Shake Shack.
Yeah, problem is we can't go inside.
COVID. I would totally do that.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to roll out more lifestyle stuff. We're just having it.
Yeah, I agree. Headband Stever says, it's really difficult to travel this globe as an American. Bless you.
Thank you.
And it's unfortunate that social media has a lot to do with that. Well, there's an interesting question. Did impeaching Donald Trump even serve a purpose? Probably not. Probably not, because yes, Donald Trump was impeached, and he's the only president in American history to be impeached twice.
Yeah,
he won't be removed from office.
Not for that.
No, thanks to Cocaine Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Who won't bring the Senate back early. I mean, there is still a lot of people have asked, well, why are you going to impeach him? Ooh, we are so late. Why are you going to impeach him? Well, because you don't want him to be able to run for president again.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to impeach him. in the Senate, and I don't think it's possible. I think you would need something like 17 or something. You'd need a ton of Republican senators to come on your side on that, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But I think the impeachment proved a point. I don't think it has a practical application.
I would agree.
I really don't. And frankly, impeaching him during a Biden administration, I think hurts Joe Biden more than anything. The guy that's screwing you right now is Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. With what he's doing and this terrorist designation for Cuba, and we'll talk about that going forward. Less than a week to go in Donald Trump's presidency, by the way.
Yep.
So there you have
It's almost over.
Make sure you find us on all social media, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show, Twitter, Insta, Facebook. Make sure you find our podcast wherever you get a podcast, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show. And please, please, please subscribe to our show on YouTube. It really helps us grow the channel. The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Until tomorrow, we'll have picks and locks for the NFL playoffs. Undefeated last weekend in his locks, by the way.
Fire, bro.
Was Jake. I got the Browns game wrong. No, I'm not going to. No. Tomorrow. We're doing locks tomorrow. Right here on the show. Until tomorrow, say, I don't know, say what? Fleshlights for everybody.
Fleshlights for everybody.